Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a short session that will help to promote feelings of peace and well-being. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. This does presuppose you have some experience. We're going to do some variations of inversions, a variation of headstand and a variation of shoulder stand. So if you don't have experience in doing them, I do have a couple of other videos in my YouTube library that you can access for free, and that will help you with the foundation of those poses. I'll put the links for those videos in the description box below. For now, let's take some bricks. I know some of you may not have 3 bricks. It's common for most people to have 2 bricks if they are practicing at home. If you don't have access to 3 yoga bricks, you could use a couple of thick books as the bottom brick. So basically we've got a platform on which the other 2 bricks are going to stand. So we do want that elevation about the thickness of a brick. See if you can get a couple of books or maybe even a plastic container that will provide you with that. It's not going to do any weight bearing other than the weight of your bricks, of course. Then a tall brick. So we have an upside down T shape, and then another brick on top. That's sticking out from the wall. So this is now an upright T shape. So we have the inverted T shape and then the upright T shape. This is going to press into your upper back, the thoracic spine. It's going to help lift that area up. We're going to do a variation of Sirsasana, headstand, but we're going to keep the feet on the floor. And we'll stay for as long as we can manage. Now when we come into this, we want the fingers zipped all the way up to the webbing, not half-heartedly. So we zip the fingers all the way up to the webbing, and we have the heels of the hands apart, but not dramatically. We want the knuckles to come in to this lower brick. So as we set the hands, we want to create a little cup shape for the back of the head to rest. The head does not rest on the hands, so don't let the wrists be weak. We want secure wrists. Bring the knuckles to the lower brick with your fingers zipped all the way to the webbing, and press the little finger side of the wrist. I refer to that as the outer wrist. Press that into the floor. Lengthen it and press it into the floor. Elbows shoulder width. Watch that the elbows don't slide out wide. Elbows shoulder width, the tips of the thumbs can touch. Crown of the head comes to the floor, and you'll feel the back of the head with the base part of the thumbs here, or the bottom of the palm. So roll the thumb side of the wrist in towards the head and drive the forearms down. Elbows to wrist, wrist to elbows. Then as you lift up the knees, lift the shoulder blades as well. So you can walk in, take the feet to hip width, that offers more stability. And again, drive elbows to wrist down, wrist to elbows down. Roll the thumb side of the wrist, the area I call that inner wrist. Roll that in towards the head as the outer wrist presses down the little finger side of the wrist. Drive that down into the floor so it feels like you can rebound the shoulder blades up the back. Then watch that you're not too far out from the bricks. Walk in enough. If your hamstrings are tight, bend the knees so you can pull the hips back towards the wall. So whether the knees are bent or straight, pull the hips back towards the wall. So we're trying to keep the spine straight. Go on driving the forearms down, lift the shoulder blades up. Then notice the abdomen. See if you can get a sense of the navel, the abdominal contents softening, settling back towards the back abdominal wall as you exhale. And as we stay, we breathe smoothly. We slow the breath down. Then as you're ready, we come out of the pose, bend your knees, walk the feet back, come down, knees apart, big toes touch, cross the forearms, keep your arms forward, forehead resting down on your forearms. Relax the neck and the shoulders. Observe the quality of your breath. Keep it smooth, slow, and steady. Remember that what we do with the breath will help to inform our state of being. If we're looking for peace and well-being, we need to work with the breath to enhance that. As you're ready, come to sit up, and we'll move our bricks out of the way. You will note that I actually still have 2 bricks here. They're flat. They're sitting close to the wall. I have my shoulder stand cushions and some blankets to put on top. If you don't have shoulder stand cushions, that's fine. Use your pile of blankets. Give yourself enough height that your neck will be comfortable when we have the neck in flexion for our shoulder stand variation. Let's make our loop shoulder width apart. I often like putting the loop right over my thumbnail and bringing it underneath my elbow, so that gives me a good indication that that's going to work for me behind the back as a shoulder width belt. We come into the pose, we're going to lie with the legs up the wall, and we want to ensure that we can have our shoulders within the boundary of our cushions or our blankets. The belt will be just around one elbow, and hold the other end of the belt with the same hand so you know where it is. Sometimes we lose track of things when we get upside down, so it's helpful to have that hold of the other end of the loop. Then as we prepare to lift up, the knees are going to bend, we lift the hips, we take the head back and down. Walk the shoulders back towards the wall so that you don't slip off your support. So then once you've walked your shoulders back, you can press the hips forward and move the hips almost, they're coming vertically top the shoulders. Depends on exactly how you've placed yourself relative to the wall. But when you're ready, bring your belt around the second elbow. And again, we're going to roll the shoulders under and back towards the wall. So we're standing on the very tops of the shoulders. Keep the hands off the back for now and dig the elbows, upper arms, into the floor to give you more lift through the chest. Sternum towards the chin and the armpit chest lifting vertically up. Think about the length of the upper arms as being the length of your foot. So from the shoulder tip, the very top of the upper arm bone, to the elbow tip, drive down the whole length of both upper arm bones to rebound the chest up, and then work with your leg strength. Press the feet to the wall to move your hips forward. Tailbone up. Breathing smoothly. So you'll note we've got a significant neck flexion. Rather than gripping the throat, relax the throat. And then as you're ready, bring your hands onto your back ribs. Don't settle your hips back into your hands because that will undo the straight vertical line that we've created. Keep your hips forward and bring your hands onto your ribs as close to your shoulder blades as you can. Stretch the skin on the back up. And keep breathing smoothly. Smooth, steady breath. The hands supporting the lift of the back ribs, the lift of the back body. But your legs and your buttocks are working to sustain the lift as well. A few more steady breaths before we come down. We take the hands off the back, Remove the belt from one of your arms. Put the belt aside. Lower the hips. And as they're lowering, push yourself off your support. So the head and the shoulders rest on the floor and the back of the pelvis rests on your shoulder stand height. The legs can rest up the wall. Observe the residue of the pose. Relax the throat, relax the jaw. Then as you're ready, bend your knees, carefully roll to the right side, come off your support. Now we're moving on to supported Setu Bandha, which is the bridge pose. We're going to use a bolster underneath the pelvis and a couple of bricks for the feet. If you don't have a bolster, roll some blankets up so that you've got something to work with. The bricks can be set tall against the wall, about hip width apart, a little wider is okay. And as I said, this bolster is going to be under the pelvis. So measuring where you need to be, you can sit on your bolster and this will give you an approximate measurement. So you're sitting on the bolster, legs straight, heels right up against the wall. Then bend your knees, back of the pelvis on the bolster. Take care as you lower yourself down. Bring the shoulders, the back of the head to the floor. We're going to roll the shoulders under in a minute, but let's just work with the feet coming up onto the bricks. So heels onto the bricks. The heels can come right into the wall and we want to be able to straighten the legs. So that's where we're going to work with perhaps moving where the bolster needs to be. So ensure the bolster's underneath the sacrum and the back of the pelvis as you straighten the legs. You can hold onto the edges of the bolster with your hands as you straighten the legs. If you have a tendency to hyperextend the knees, you might need to put some support underneath the knees here. But once you've got that measurement, once you've got your legs straight, feet up on your bricks, feet to the wall, pelvis on your bolster, then roll your shoulders under. One shoulder, other shoulder. Get the lift in the chest there, shoulder blades draw towards the waist so the chest is lifted. And some of you may feel quite capable of being able to take the feet to the floor. So if that's the case, you can move your brick a little bit out of the way and press your feet to the wall. If that impacts you in the lower back too strongly, then bring your feet back up onto the bricks. We're opening the front of the pelvis, we're opening the chest, and we're softening chin to the chest. Relax the throat. And just take a moment to observe the effects of the pose on your nervous system, on your mind state. Slow your breathing down. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes as you become more in tune with your breath. Make sure that your chest is not slumped or collapsed. Keep the shoulders drawing under so the chest feels somewhat puffed up, lifted, broad. Throat relaxed, jaw relaxed, facial muscles relaxed. And as you're ready, bend your knees, feet on the floor. Lift your hips, push the bolster to the side so the back of the pelvis can come down onto the floor. Lengthen your lower back. And it may help you to catch the knees, catch the shins, draw the knees towards your chest. Feel the lower back lengthening and broadening. And then release and relax. In your own time, you can roll to the side and come to sit up. Practicing inversions or variations of inversions, which is what we did today, can be very helpful in bringing an overall sense of well-being and peace within ourselves. And if you're interested in doing a restorative practice, I have lots of restorative videos on my website in my video library, as well as many other classes. heatherkitchenyoga.com.au, and you can start with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.